Hi Jarvis, what are my events for tomorrow? So I have no event actually, but let's see if Jarvis would get that correctly. Okay. So can you schedule a lunch tomorrow for 2 p.m. please? Hmm? Yeah, lunch like a lunch date. LUNCH lunch. Okay, sorry, can you actually move the lunch by an hour? No, I want it to be earlier, so move it up by an hour, please. Okay, can you schedule a meeting with Damola for tomorrow by 5 p.m.? Okay, please move the meeting with Damola for, to 7 p.m. Thank you. Yes, please move it to 7 p.m. Thank you. So he asked the question, try just to confirm. So it's confirming, and then let's see whether it's actually going to move it. Okay, sorry to actually stress you, Jarvis, but can you delete my meeting with Damola for 7 p.m. tomorrow? So now we're testing the delete function. Okay, and let's go back to confirm. So it said, um, okay, so it has been deleted now. Okay, okay. So before you send Damola the email, can you retrieve my last email from Damola, please? I want to know what he said. So I'd actually sent an email before now. So I sent if I go here, I sent this email to myself to another of my email. So let's see whether it's going to retrieve this email. Okay, you can see, hi, are you free tomorrow? Say actually retrieve. Let me tell you to actually respond. Yeah, help me reply Damola. Tell him I'm actually doing fine, and ask how he's also doing. Oh, sorry. The question was actually, am I free tomorrow? But yeah, I'm still going to do that anyway. Yeah, that was an error on my part. So let's see, and if I come to my email, you would see that this was actually the email, the last email from Damola, which is actually myself too. But I just asked you to reply to this email. So let's see it do that. Okay, don't have reply to me. Okay, so let's confirm. Did it actually reply? Let me just refresh this. Okay. So you can see it responded. So this is a reply, but it can actually send a new email too. So let's do that. Okay, so send a new email to Damola. Ask him if he's free tomorrow by 7 p.m. for a running session. And you can actually type to the personal assistant, but it's just easier to say talk via VN. So that's why I'm using VN. But it also has the ability to respond to text, which I'm going to text. I'm going to try out now after this. So I just asked it to send a new email, so it can some reply emails under the same thread and can send. So it said it has sent an email, and let's confirm that. Well, so write a tweet on the importance of love, please. So yeah. It also doubles as a content agent too. Wanted to check this new email from Tamara. Let's see. So I refresh. This is the email my other email Tamara's under inbox rather. So you can see it's able to dynamically create new emails, respond to emails. So this is a new email that it was able to create and send automatically. Alright. So here is it functioning as a content agent also. So this way now I can always ask, connect with so you might be thinking of ideas on the go, probably so it has the ability to take your rough idea, polish it into a tweet, and then ask if you want to post and directly post that to X in this particular instance. You can also ask it to edit, probably don't like the style, you can always let it edit and need to do that. So let's say yeah, and of course you have a personal assistant, right? So you want to be able to like ask some little details about yourself. So I gave it this knowledge base. These are just the mock data actually. This is not real. Let's actually to give me these fictional characters. So let's see. So here this is my spouse. These are my parents, my siblings, my educational background. You have the PA now. Sometimes you just want to you might forget some things and you want to, ask your personal assistant. So that's why, I did this. So let's ask it about my birthday. So this is Damala's birthday. All right. So when is Damala's birthday, please? So yeah, let's see. And then we'll probably ask it for my educational background. That's for next. Oh, okay. Probably I didn't pronounce my name very well. Yeah. Okay. So it also has the ability to like just double check with you to be sure it's receiving the right inputs. So let's ask another question. Can you tell me about my educational background? So that's this one. Let's see. So we can see BSc in Computer Science, University of Lagos. So Um, let's confirm that. So BSc in Computer Science, University of 2010 to 2014. That's accurate. And you see MSc in Artificial Intelligence, University of Edinburgh, 2016 to 2018, and Certificate in Product Management by Coursera. So check that too. Let's see whether it's accurate. So MSc Artificial Intelligence, University of Edinburgh, 2016 to 2018. and certificate in product management, Coursera. So you can see, it can also, ask, give you answers on relevant information about yourself. All right. So what other thing do you want to test? So yeah, basically, you've seen it perform calendar functions, email functions, also has the ability to act as a content manager or to draft tweets for you. If you wanted to post on LinkedIn on X, you can always configure that. It also doubles as a research agent too. And yeah, so basically, let's just go into the build. Um, Yeah, so if you actually know me, I'm Damola. I build anything workflows like this for companies, or if you're just a business person, you're busy, you're on the go. A project like this or assistant like this can actually help you. You don't yet hire a personal, a virtual assistant. This can actually manage all your calendar functions, your booking, scheduling events, booking events. It can also, help you to, draft emails, respond to emails, get your email summaries, content agent. You can give it some on the go data about some on the go knowledge so that if you want to ask a particular question, just as a reminder, probably in this mock data here, we had the wedding anniversary. It has the ability to pull up your wedding anniversary, help you, book it on your calendar so that you don't forget and you know how to plan. So yeah, something like this is very, very useful. And yeah, there's been a rise, suddenly, initially there was lesser demand for personal assistants. But recently there's been, this surge again in building personal assistant workflows. So if this is something you like, something you like to build for yourself, or the person, your business person wants something built for you, just reach out to me. I'll be happy to help you build something like this. But if you want to learn how to build something like this, let's hop right into the build. So I'll be explaining each of the nodes one after the other and seeing how we can do something like this. So yeah, if you didn't get it here, this is a personal assistant AI agent, and we just saw all of the functions it is able to perform. Yeah, no, the chat interface here, it's a Telegram trigger. But of course, the thing about workflows like this is that it is always, scalable. It can also be customized to your needs. So if you don't want Telegram, if you want it via WhatsApp, if you want it via Slack, whatever, I built Slack bots too. I built some WhatsApp bots too. So if you want something like that, that is always customizable. Now, because this is a Telegram personal assistant and Telegram is our chat interface, that is why we are beginning this workflow with the Telegram trigger. So if I zoom in a bit, we are beginning with the Telegram trigger. This is it here. Now, one thing I would first want to talk about also is the design, workflow design. Now, workflow design is very, very important because it saves you a lot of stress. Now, for a personal assistant like this, where it's going to have a lot of functions, it has, in terms of handling your calendar events, it has the ability to, pull up, get your calendar events. It has the ability to be able to also create new events, schedule events, delete events. Then we have the email functions where it can get emails from a particular person, get other type of emails, probably emails for a particular day. It can create email drafts, respond to emails, send new emails. Then we're having the parts that to do content, whether you want to go to that draft tweets for you, create a LinkedIn post, write a blog. Then we have a research, we have a knowledge base. Now, for an agent that has to do something so voluminous, you cannot attach all of those particular individual tools or individual functions to one agent. Now, for two things actually. Number one, that is just so, the amount of tools involved will require, an airtight prompt. And the thing about prompts is that, to write something like that, you have to write, your prompt has to be very, very intense. And your LLMs, which are going to connect, has token limits, has token limits. I think for GPT-4o is about 200 tokens. And if you don't know what tokens are, you can watch my video on RAG AI agent. I think I explained that there. Probably I'll provide the link somewhere too. You can just watch that. So they have token limits. So you are using large amount of prompts. That means the AI agent has to know when to use the calendar in terms of getting an event, scheduling an event, creating an event, deleting an event, then deleting emails, creating emails, replying emails, getting email summaries, creating content. The amount of tools that you have to connect to that agent. I can't just imagine the amount of prompts you need to use. So to design a workflow like this one to make it very, very efficient, it's best to use sub workflows. So if you can see here, This is actually a parent's workflow. Parent's workflow in the sense that, so this is the personal assistant AI agent, right? And for the personal assistant AI agent, I just connected sub agents to it. So I mean, we have a personal assistant. It's just like when, let's say, you have a father, right? And let's say the father, I mean, the father cannot do all of the functions at home. There's the ability, or let's say a boss at a company. A boss at a company does not do all of the functions in that company. The ability of a leader is also how well you can delegate tasks. Okay, for this particular task, you do this. For this particular task, you do that. For this one, you do that. Such that you as a leader, you are not overwhelmed. It's the same way here. And I say for building workflows, the more you can actually, liken the workflow design to how humans will actually do something, the better your automation journey is going to be, basically. You just imagine, just one person cannot do. I mean, imagine you have a role, and in your role you are doing like 20 different functions. You're going to get overwhelmed. You're going to crash. You'll not be able to properly process information. It's the same way here too. So instead of having one AI agent doing all of these different functions, why don't we delegate this task such that the function of this AI agent, because this is actually an AI agent, I just renamed it to personal assistant. Now, such that if you configure it in this way, we can, just make the only function of this AI agent would then be, okay, just delegate. If the input you are receiving, is about something about relating to booking events, just call the calendar agent. So if I zoom in a bit, you can see, so I have different agents, so that, okay, if I provide, an input that, okay, see, get me my calendar, my events for tomorrow, it just calls this agent, and this agent handles it. If it's about, okay, an email function, it just calls this agent, and this agent handles it. If it's about anything related to content, it just calls this agent, and just like that. So I mean, if you're designing your workflow this way, it just saves you a whole lot of headache. It saves you a whole lot of headache. It saves you a lot of debugging, a lot of mental stress and everything. You know. And yeah, so that's the person about workflow design. And again, workflow design starts from mapping your logic. I explained, I think that was in my last video, where I explained that, see, you have to always learn to map your logic. You map logic, you can design, okay, what goes where, how do I design? Because I mean, part of automation is making your process very, very streamlined. I'm taking my time to explain so that you understand. You can't rush some process when building some workflows. If you had rushed this, just start building, not designing a workflow, you might not be able to tell, like, you might not be able to like properly create something that is truly, truly optimal, truly efficient, and truly effective. And saves you just, the amount of stress that you probably would have, experienced. So I said this is a telegram. I mean, so with that out of the way, let me then go to building the workflow now, or taking you through the steps involved. Now, like you saw, okay, I didn't actually, let me send it a text, let me send it a text. Okay, let me just do that through my laptop. So you see that it also has the ability to respond to text. So I say hello, um, so you would see that it also has the ability to actually respond to text. It's not just your voice note that you can listen to. You can, if you don't feel like talking, but in an area where you can talk, you can see it responded to a text. So let's start with the workflow steps. Now, like I said, since this is a Telegram chatbot, we are going to begin with the Telegram trigger. And I think that's very easy. You just go to, so everything starts from credit here. You go to your Telegram, search for Telegram, another Telegram. We're not doing actions, it's a trigger. A trigger is what begins a process. Without that, first, the initial event that triggers or that begins or that initiates the series or the chain of events in your workflow is a trigger. So since the Telegram personal assistant and Telegram will be our chat interface, we're going to use, a Telegram trigger. And usually you can see this on message. So this is what we need to use on message receipt, such that, okay, the workflow is being triggered whenever you have a new message. Now the message can either be a text, can either be a chat, but at least it's still a message. And they don't configure much in a Telegram trigger actually. You don't configure much. So you just need to create your Telegram. So for this Telegram, you just search for bot father, on your Telegram. When you search for bot father, you see there's slash bot father. So, or sorry, just at bot father rather. When you search for bot father, you literally see how you're going to interact with it. So you interact with it, you create a new bot, and it's going to give you a key. So you just come here. I already created, I mean, I pasted my key here. So you type bot father on your Telegram account, bot father, then you create a new bot. It's going to give you a key, an API key. This is the key or your access token rather. It's all come and you paste here. And once you paste it, you see a save option here. You save that. I mean, once you see connection tested successfully, that is basically all. So bot father, go to your Telegram, search for bot father, BOT FATHER. And then once you do that, you can then literally that's what you need to configure here such that once you send a Telegram message, it's going to be received. Now you can see I'm using a switch node, and if I zoom in a bit, you can see that the switch has two outputs. One is audio and one is text, and that is because I wanted this personal assistant to be dynamic in terms of the message that it receives, where you can interact with it via a chat interface, and where you can interact with it via a voice note. So all I use, I mean, I use the switch node for that. And what I did is, so I mean, for this, you have to actually do it in two ways. You have to try it twice. You want to configure this, you first send the voice note, and in your voice note, you literally have a file ID. So that's the first rule. So you drag this, which is literally you just drag this and you put it under your key, and then since this is a string, it's a string type of data, your option here is you choose a string. So what I'm trying to tell the configure here is that, okay, see, the first rule is that if this file ID which represents a voice note, if it exists, so I use the string and I chose exist. So that's what I'm trying to say now is that if this file ID, which is a voice note again, if it exists, go into the audio, route, which is what you are seeing here which is what you are seeing here. You can see it. That's why once you execute it, it's going to be executed via the audio route. And for to now to rename this, you just need to click on this rename. So once you toggle it on, you can rename it how you want to rename it. I used audio and text, so I mean to easily know which is which. So I renamed it audio for this particular one that is about a voice. You can see is JSON the method of voice or file ID. So this is the file ID for the voice notes. Now, so secondly, now to now create the second rule, you need to now actually send a text via your Telegram because you also need the zip file ID now for your text. Let me just confirm. So you need the text itself. So once you configure the one for the voice notes, to send for the voice notes again, you just speak to your you send the voice notes via your Telegram once you connected it, and then you see a file ID you drag. Now to do the one for text now, you go back to your Telegram, you send a text, and once you send the text, you see something about JSON or message.text. And then okay, let me show an execution I executed before. Let's see. Um I'm trying to find an execution that involved text. Okay, I think this did. All right, so this involved text. So let me just show you. Let me copy it and it up. Okay, so this involved a text. And you can literally see the text now. And see the text was hello, how are you doing? I think that was even was it my last text? Okay, so that was actually my last text. Hello, how are you doing? Now, so since this is a text, you can see, so you try just drag it again. You drag this and you paste it here in your second rule. That, okay, if this text exists, go into the text branch. And like I said, you can always rename your outputs. So this is for text, then it goes into the text branch, basically. Yeah, that's what you are seeing here. And then once you execute it now, we have that, right? Now, so usually, and after, so if it's a voice note too, okay, let me just quickly explain the one for the voice note because I'm trying to get to a point now. Let me explain the one for the voice note. Okay. Okay, so this is the one for a voice note. So I was explaining, let me just finish for voice note. So if that file ID exists, then the next step is actually download the voice notes, You need to download the audio into anything. And to do that, it's still a Telegram function you need to use, a Telegram node. So you come to it, you search again Telegram, and then you see under actions, you see get a file. This is what we're using, get a file. So once you select that, you have something like this basically. You have something like this. Again, it's asking for the file ID. So you just come here, you drag your file ID, you drag your file ID, and then you execute the step. I think this naturally by default, you see it's already clicked on, it's already the toggle download is already on. So once you execute the step, you can see now we have the voice notes. So now we have the voice notes in n8n now. And then from there, we want to transcribe, but this is just a voice note. But the AI agent does not process voice notes. It processes text rather. So we need to find a way to transcribe this audio into text. So I use an OpenAI node here. So you search for OpenAI, and literally you can see, sorry. So OpenAI, you see transcribe a recording. So this is it here, transcribe a recording, and that's what you have here. You know. So for the asking for the input data field name, that is the name you have here. So in case in yours, if you have something different, is whatever name you have in this particular area here. So mine is data. I think by default it is data. So if it's data, it's the same data that is here. You put it here. And it has to be very, very specific. So if yours began with a capital letter or an uppercase, you also need to begin this with an uppercase. And you can just simply copy and paste whatever you have there, you put it here. And I think that's all you need to do. So now I want mine to be very, very specific, because sometimes if you don't like specify the language you're speaking in, sometimes maybe in a very noisy environment, it might not be able to properly, understand what language it's receiving that data in. So what you can do is you click on add option, which I did already. When you click on add option, you see language of the audio file. So EN is the code for English. So this just lets this AI know that, okay, see, whatever voice notes you're receiving is in English. So at least once it knows that, it doesn't try and think that, okay, if I'm not hearing this correctly, is this person speaking Spanish? Is the person speaking French? It just knows that it's English. At least that makes it, at least to an extent, still much more accurate in terms of interpreting or transcribing the voice notes. So again, you just click on add option, see language of the audio file, you put EN. EN represents English. And then so now it has transcribed. Once you execute the step, it has transcribed what I had here. So what I had here was, can you tell me about my educational background? It has transcribed it. Now, if you understand JSON very well, if you don't understand, that was my first YouTube video. Watch it, I'll provide a link. Just watch it, you'd see. I explain JSON in detail. So I'm talking about JSON. And if you've been following my video series, you see that in almost every workflow, we have to use something about data. So again, I'll highly recommend that video. I went at length to explain everything about data in n8n. So it helps a lot. So now you can see that here, this is JSON.text. Literally. So if I go to the JSON, you'll see we literally have JSON.text here. Now, because this is JSON.text, you will see how it's going to be different from the text file in a minute. We won't go to text file, but just remember that you can actually still come back and you see that here we have JSON.text, and then that is what I'm going to connect. So now I'll accurately transcribe the voice notes. So first here I routed, okay, this message, is it an audio or is it a text? Since it's an audio, okay, download the voice notes. Now if you've downloaded the voice notes, transcribe it into text, I can then pass the text into my AI agent. So for you, initially, I think you want to open an AI agent, literally just search for AI agent. That's all. You search for AI agents, which is what you're having here, this AI agents. And always rename, I always advocate renaming your node so that it's just very easy. You understand? So I name my personal assistant. So by default, once you create it, you see connected chat trigger. You just come and click on this option here and you choose define below. That is, you want to define where the source, where the user message is coming from. And literally just drag and drop. So you double click this and then you come and drop it here. That is all. So now this is telling that, okay, this dynamic expression in this instance represents, can you tell me about my educational background? So that's JSON.text. Now the system message, which is the system message or system prompt rather. This is where I defined everything I wanted to do. That, oh, you are Jarvis, a personal assistant agent for Damola, who is your boss. These are the instructions. These are the tools and routing logic, and the emails, the email communication rules. So this what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to make sure that the agent knows number one, the tools it has access to, and be able to accurately, analyze and process whatever input it receives and know the intent of that message. Here I'm asking about my educational background. So I programmed it that see any input that you receive that is not about emails, not about calendar, that's like a personal inquiry. Just call on this particular tool here. You should call on the knowledge base tool. You can see which the query here was about my my educational background, which is like a personal query. Now, although it had access to different tools, you can see email, calendar, content, research, it just went to the knowledge base because I programmed it here, you know, literally. I've customized the prompt here that says about a personal query or something, which you can see here. So this is knowledge base to information retrieval, personal information queries, general knowledge questions, anything not covered by email, calendar, or content agent, then call on that particular tool. So probably if you want me to talk about prompt engineering in detail, you can just comments and make drop your comments and I'll see that there are enough people are doing separate video of prompt engineering. But yeah, basically. But usually, I mean, you can try just ask ChatGPT or Claude to write a prompt for you. Most times, that's what I do too. I don't write this. I mean, at the get go. But by just learning automation from the beginning, I would advise you start writing yourself, such that you even know, like you just practice and you get better. Because most times you need to edit the prompts over and over and over again to get the right output. So you need to first know how you do something. If you don't know how you do something, you cannot know how you properly. You don't know how you do something, you don't know how you correct it. So at least before you start correcting things, you first need to know what is the baseline knowledge here. So I would advise if you are just starting to learn automation, get a feel for prompt engineering yourself, write it yourself. I don't write again because I mean I've done a lot of writing before. So I mean I just know. And again, then every time you're interacting with ChatGPT, Claude, you're prompting it too. So that's another practice too. So now that is the prompt, and so it actually called on or you use this knowledge base tool, and yeah, it gave me the response back, right? So then, how do we then set up each of these different functions? Now, number one, we have this personal assistant. It needs a brain because the brain is what is going to be able to make is what's going to make it understand literally, what is this message about? For this message, call on this tool. What is next message about? For this next message, call on this tool, like that and like that. So I used during GPT-5. Now, I mean, so the thing you should know now is, so I mean, I first tried 4.0 and 4.1. It wasn't really giving me, it was, there were some errors. For something like this, you want I might have, maybe probably I might have gotten away with it if I still try to refine my prompts. Like, I mean, that's another option. GPT-4 or 4.1 might still work, but I didn't feel like editing the prompt again, so I just used GPT-5. But the higher the reasoning model, the better it's able to understand nuances, understand context, and everything like that. But enough, I mean, the higher you go, so you also have to take into cognizance that see, it uses a lot of credits. So GPT-5 might consume, more credits than, so you also bear that in mind. So find the balance. Start with the smallest models, maybe 4.0. But honestly, I think 4.0, 4.1 might still be able to get the job done. I just didn't feel like further refining my prompt again. So I just used GPT-5. So let me just mention that. So that's about the reasoning model. Now we need the memory. Now the essence of memory is because we just want the agent. So if you see here, let me see if we had. Oh, these are all voice notes. So I mean, memory just enables you to. I mean, of course, memory does. I mean, I think it's even self-revealing, right? You need the AI agent needs memory so that it's aware of information. So imagine telling it, message John today. Message John about this, and then the agent gives you a response back. So and you type as he responded. Now you're not so the initial prompt was message John. Then the next line was has he responded. Now, if there's no memory, the AI just cannot know. Okay, see this he that you're talking about is still about John. Or you type in I'm Damola, and then you ask me what's my name. It has no memory. You should remember that yeah, Damola. So I mean, I use a simple memory for this. So and I used context window length of 20, and then yeah. So you just search for simple memory. Literally search for that. So you see simple memory. Okay, which is yeah this one here, and so and then so for the okay, so for this you see that you need to use a chat ID. I don't know why it is currently red, but it's still working, but I don't know why it's red. So I did so I need to be able to process ID for a text and ID for a voice, a voice file. So that's why you can see these two slash between these two slash. It's saying that okay, save is the ID for a text, and you get this from literally the when you map. So you check from mapping, you'd see the ID, which is this one. You just know that's from Telegram trigger rather. So you can use this. That's the first one. You just put it, you just drag it again. And again, that's for the one that means you try it twice. So I did that. You try it for a chat, try it for a voice note. And then that's the session ID. Just this ID so that it knows okay, what chat am I keeping? Am I keeping tabs with? What chat should I be checking? That's the function of this ID. So and of course you choose define below. You switch to define below. I think you by default you see connected chat trigger. So you choose define below, and then again just come down to where you have your ID. Usually at the bottom under your Telegram trigger, you can see this Telegram trigger. You just grab the ID and put it here. And so that is about that. So now we have different things to do, right? We have email functions, calendar functions, content, research, a knowledge base. So that means we need to create separate workflows for this. So we need to create. So this is my parents' workflow, the parents agent, which is personal assistant. And I mentioned that the function of this personal assistant now is to just delegate that. Okay, see, my work is to just receive the input, analyze this input about calendar functions. It's about calendar delegate it to the calendar agents. And the calendar agent is one that executes a particular function and it communicates that once it has executed that function, it communicates back to this personal assistant, right? And the personal assistant then gives me a response via Telegram. So let's see, let's start with this email agent, which is what we have here. So we have the email agent, right? So let's start with the email agent. So let's click on save. All right. So but open up the email agents now. So the first thing you want to do is you want to be able to at least allow. I mean, we also have a trigger here, right? I mean, every workflow, like I said, begins with a trigger. So now the trigger here will be when executed by another workflow. What this means is that this trigger means this particular workflow, this email agent workflow, is going to be called by another workflow. There's another workflow that will execute this workflow. This is one workflow, right? This email agent. Earlier we had the personal assistant workflow. So this trigger is what it is saying that okay, for this email agent, it is going to be triggered when another workflow executes it. So that's what you have when executed by another workflow. And then literally you just search it for it again. Here. How I was explaining other ones. You search for it, and then once you open it, I just use accept all data. We have different input modes. We have the define using fields below. Just an example. I use accept all data. There are some other instances where you might use define below. But in this particular area, I don't let's just accept all data, right? And then so it means that once that agent, speaks to once the parent agent, personal assistant, sends okay, say a grab or what is Damola's last email, that query, what is the last email from Damola, will be passed into this trigger. And this trigger is going to receive it, and then literally it is going to be passed into the agent. So how did I map this? Let me just show you one of the executions I have. So we'll walk through it together. Uh, okay. So you can see now. So this we had. Let me just open this. So the query from that parent agent, was send a new email to Damola, blah, running tomorrow at 7 p.m. This da 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 da. So it's grabbed, this information and sent it to this particular agent, which is the message that this agent received, right? So now the agent knows what it needs to do because it has been provided, it has been provided this email, provided the message to send, that's been provided the subject, that provided all of that, right? And so once you receive that, you just map it again. Again, you come and choose define below, and you just map, right? You just map this, now put it here. So this is the query, and then we also have a prompt here. So you can just screenshot this and ask ChatGPT to transcribe it for you. So let me move this slowly. So we have this, then we have this, we have this. So this prompt is literally just explaining how we should do all of the functions, when to call on this, when to call on that, so that it is very accurate in how it is, right? So that's what we have in this prompt. That's all we have in this prompt. Now, again, always make sure that when you are using an AI that has to be aware of time, you have to always use this expression. So you open your double curly brace, you put dollar sign now, and you can see in the results, it's literally going to grab the current date and time that we have. So that's this what this expression is about, to grab the current date and time. It's currently 12:25 a.m. So that's why I'm seeing 00:25. Like the time this was executed rather was at this particular time. So that I mean the AI is just aware of the context. So if you, so that if you tell it message Damola tomorrow, it knows what today is, which is today is currently Tuesday. So it knows that tomorrow will be today is 29th of October 2025. So it knows that tomorrow will be 30th of October. And that's why you have to always put that dollar sign now. So that is aware of the current time. Now we have all of this particular information. Now we have the contact agent here, right? But this agent, I mean, I've been speaking with it since, so from its memory, I already knew Damola's email. That's why you can see here you just send an email to Damola and provided the email, right? Provide the email for Damola. But usually, that is because I've been chatting with it since. I've been chatting with the agents. I've been using the agents myself. So just pull that from the memory. If it was a new email, what to do is to first come to this contact. If you didn't have the email before, to come into this contact, I put the Google Sheet. Let me just open it from here. So I put the Google Sheet, which you'd see if I just open it. So the Google Sheet had, literally had, this email. So this is Damola. So it's going to grab, okay, message Damola tomorrow and tell him about this. It's come and search for Damola in the database and pull this email. So to grab this email and then to send, if the function is to send an email, once it has grabbed this email from this contact database, it should now send that email. But like I said, he didn't use that here because I mean I've been chatting with it since, so just from its memory, it just knows that okay, the Damola using email is this, and it does pass it straight to the agent. So the agent didn't this email agents now um didn't need to search for Damola's email again. So all like this was a Google Sheet, this is a Google Sheet node. So the function is to get rows. You have to create your sheet rather. Once you just create this sheet, create a sheet, create your columns, and literally that's all. So you select it here too. And I didn't do any other thing here. So now the first function is to want you to be able to get an email, right? That's the first function. So to get an email again, you just search for the Gmail node. You come to here anytime you search for the which is so this is Gmail, and you can see get many messages, right? You said click on this get many message. So you click on this get many message, and once you do that, you'd see this, right? Now, so it should be this. The resource is message, operation is get many. Now to return all, allow the AI agent to define it, right? I didn't use simplify because you want the AI agent to be able to preserve the context of a particular email. Because if you choose simplify, it might just trim down your email and you might lose context, you might lose some important data. So I don't want to use that. So I toggle this off. I wanted it to preserve the contents or the context of any email I get. Don't edit anything out. Don't leave anything out. Now, I did a filter. Now, what this filter is saying here is that, okay, see, filter the email by a particular name. So that you can see. So that if I mention what is the last email from Damola, this function allows the AI agent to be able to, okay, search for Damola in my email, in my inbox, and pull the last email from Damola, right? So the first function was okay, get message, right? But I can filter the message down to receive. Okay, for this particular function now, I want to configure this such that I want to just get email from a particular person. So maybe I say get the last message from let's say John Doe, right? If the first come and search John Doe's email. Yeah, it's coming to this sheet. It's coming to this sheet. Grab John Doe's email, and then it will then go into this node. And now because I've configured this, literally you just click on add filter. You see different, you can see how you can filter it via different ways. You can do red status. If you choose on red status now, it will literally grab your unread status. So once if you say okay, grab my last three messages, it will just grab the unread one once you configure this like that. But this, like I said, I just use the sender such that I can tell my AI agent grab the last message from this person. Once I mention that person's name, it grabs the email from that person and goes to my email inbox. I'm going to search for that person. All I did here was to allow the AI agent define it. So to do that, you can see all of these star sign. This star sign. Once you just click on that, you will have something like this. That's why you just click on this star sign. So I already did that. That's why I can't show you here again. So you just click on this star sign. You literally see it by the side here. So you click on it and you see it like this. So that is what I did here. And then I renamed it. Like I said, I always prefer to rename my notes so that it makes sense to me. I know what I'm looking at. And even when I'm bidding for clients, or I mean, clients can also just sometimes they'll look at their workflows. Maybe they might not understand the exact mechanics involved, but at least they just have a rough idea. Okay, this is about getting emails. I can rename to get sender email. Still the same thing. Just choose your own. Literally, just choose your poison, right? So that's about getting emails. Now it's about getting. So I use two email functions and getting emails rather. Now I use this one to filter again by, you can see now here I wanted this to be able to get unread emails. So that's why I know what I told you again. I chose the rest state, which is this, and I selected C, get only unread emails. So if you get maybe unread and read, you configure this, get unread emails only, get read emails, you can choose whatever you want. So get unread emails so that you can tell it, oh, get my last three emails, just grab your last three unread emails. And this received after and received before, it just also allow it to know, okay, see, what is the context for the particular time frame I'm getting this email. So that's why I allow the AI agent to define it. I don't be starting to wrap my head, just allow the AI agent to define it by the input it receives. So the input via the telegram must will get my last three emails from yesterday or something like that. This it just work the whole time involved. And that is why you need to provide that now. When I was talking about the prompt, provide that curly brace dollar sign now, so that it knows, okay, get my last three emails from yesterday. It's known that okay, today is Tuesday, so yesterday is Monday. You should go to Monday and go and grab emails from there. So I mean that's why I'm allowing the AI identifying this and why you need to put that curly brace now in your system prompts. So that is what about this one, and I renamed this. So the function here is also get many message by just literally I just use the different set of filters, right? And then now to send an email is very easy too. The operation here is send, and you can see allow the AI agent define what I'm sending it to also. So define just get the just know by yourself, from everything I've provided in the prompts, know what I'm sending it to. Also pick a subject yourself. I don't want to be defining the particular subject for any email. Just define it yourself. Because if I don't do this, that means you will be the one to actually have that. You need to if you don't give your DI agent that liberty to choose these things for you, you would have to be providing it in your user message in the prompt that you're telling it. That telling them to be telling it all of these things, which defeats the purpose of having a personal assistant. Purpose of personal assistant is to make your life easy, to just offload the heavy lifting, at least some of the heavy lifting for you. So they're having to provide all of the information again. It's not going to, why are you not having a bachelor? Why are you having an AI personal assistant, right? So that's why I did this. Also define the message yourself. Now, if you don't do this, right, this append anything attribution, if you don't toggle this off, you're actually going to see you would see in every email you send at the bottom you see sent using anything, something like that, which what do you want to receive a message and you are seeing sent from anything or sent using anything. So what you do is you once you open this your Gmail node, you click on add option. Now I did mine, that's why it is not here, but once you click on that option you see append anything attribution, which is this append anything attribution. It's already toggled on by default, so you toggle it off. And I also applied on that just at least so that it can know how to sign off every email by using Roland, which is what you're seeing here. You can see best regard Roland that just signs it off. So that's what you are saying there. And yeah, so that is about sending emails. I think this was pretty straightforward. Now again, so I need to be able to know when to send an email or when you need to reply to a thread. Earlier we saw how in this particular instance it responded in a thread. So this was the email. Hi, are you free tomorrow? It didn't send this person a new email. It responded under this. Because sometimes you don't want to send someone a new email. Someone might have sent you an email that you want to respond, right? So that's why I had to use this other function, which is this one here. Again, it's the same method. You go and grab, you literally just come here again, you type Gmail. Once you type Gmail, you'll see reply to a message, which is this one here. You see reply to a message, right? And then that's what you have there. That is what you have there. So since you ask for a message ID, I just allow the AI agent to define it. So the message ID, get it yourself, know it yourself, and also the particular message that you're going to send, know it yourself. And again, always toggle this append anything attribution off. That's why you're not seeing sent using anything. If not, you'd have at this bottom you'd have seen something like this message was sent via anything, and nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that. And you can always prompt your AI agent that if you don't want these M dashes, you can always prompt it that okay, when I send a message, don't use M dashes. You can always do that, right? But I just wanted at least to have a baseline to use to explain to you guys. So yeah. Okay. So I think that's okay. So that's all about this email agent. Now, so we need to do one more thing. You need to add another node. If you don't do this, your parent agent, which is the personal assistant, will not receive will not receive any message back. At least if you send someone a message, right, you want to be able to at least get the feedback. Okay, this message, what was the feedback, right? So you need to add another node. I use an edit fields, and you can just rename this. I just come here and search for edit fields. So this is what I use there, the edit fields, and yeah, I didn't do much here. I just grabbed this here and you see just come and put it somewhere like this because mine I already did mine, but yours will be something like this particular one here. So once I leave it now, it will populate the way it did back here. So that's what you need to do. Literally just drag and drop. Just drag and come and drop it. And try to see output. So now this is what look at see the email that will have been sent successfully. That is the message this sub workflow will send back to personal assistant. And the personal assistant will then analyze this and then send me the response via Telegram. To send me the response, something like okay, sent to give me the response back via Telegram. That's what this is doing. So you add a note after once you build the email agent, add a note. Now we need to do one more thing here. You go under settings. So you would see this workflow can be called, but you need to configure this. If not, if you don't do this, your parents' workflow will not be able to call on this workflow. So you need to, this workflow can be called by any work. I choose any workflow, but there are different options. You can choose only workflows in my project, any selected workflows, but I don't want to go through all those stress of I just chose let any workflow be able to call this workflow, and then you click on save. Make sure you click on save. So with that, hey, that other agents can then be able to call on this agent. So that is that about the email agent, right? Then let's go to the calendar agent. So and again, you can just always rename your workflows so that you just know at a glance what each workflow is doing. Then we'll go to the okay, save. Then the calendar agents. So you can see we have we have one, two, three, four, five, six. We have six calendar tools here. Six calendar tools. Then for this I use for the modules I didn't talk about it from the first time. I use GPT-4o in my sub agents. I think I use GPT-4o for all of them. So GPT-4o was what I used. And to get open router, you just search for open router in your browser. So you need API credits for your LLM models, right? So I prefer open router because when you use open router, you have access to different LLMs. So if I just show what I'm talking about. So if you use OpenAI, you only have access to the OpenAI models. But you can see through OpenRouter, you have access to different types of LLMs. So you can say this is Quen, you have access to the drama. If you want the anthropic model, so Claude, you can this is Moonshot, Mistral, right? You have Microsoft, you have Llama, you don't have a whole lot. You have a whole lot. For the same price actually. OpenAI has a minimum deposit of $5 and OpenAI also has a minimum deposit of $5. But if you use OpenAI, you have access to only the OpenAI models. But if you use OpenAI, you have access to a lot of models. So this is DeepSeek, Cohere Command, like that. So basically, so that's why I'm using the OpenAI and I use it for this. Now it's the same thing, the same method applies here to the same way I told you. You accept all data here. Now the event here was create event debugging meeting, blah 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 blah. Include Amula as an attendee, right? So that was the message here. And let me show you a previous execution. Let's see. Let me drink water, please. Okay, so let me quickly see what the so about deleting an event, deleting events. Let's see. Okay, so you can see, so delete the event, the calendar event titled blah blah blah. Again, I've been chatting with my parents' agent, with personal assistant. So you just knew that Damola's email is this, you know. If it was I was just chatting fresh or I used a different person's name that was not in his memory, it wouldn't include the email. So that's why I provided a contact database here. It's the same method I said in the first one, such that I mean, in case the president does not provide it, once I mention someone's name, it just comes to the contact database, it's the same thing. So I created a separate sheet. So if I open this one now, you see, literally we have, okay, this is still the same sheet actually. So you see, we have the same contact database where it can come and grab whatever person's name that is mentioned. But this is just a test. Since this is just a test workflow, I only added one person's contact here, which is myself. I'm allowed my email. But ideally, you have different type of contact and their email. So whichever name you mention, it comes here and grabs that email to create, the event. In case you want to create an event with an attendee, that's why we have this contact database. And so so the first function is get event, right? But let's first see the calendar agent prompt. So the same way you come and do this particular method I explained here earlier. For this prompt, actually this is it. You can ask ChatGPT to just give you a prompt or Claude. I prefer to use Claude. But to get this prompt, you can literally just screenshot and ask ChatGPT to transcribe. I can see the current date and time is now. Always apply this so that the agent knows what. So look at now exactly. See, create event debugging. Let me zoom in a bit so you can see what I'm talking about. You can see here the query was create events, which is this event debugging meeting for 6 p.m. tomorrow, and include Damola as attendee. Now tomorrow, if I didn't include this now, this now, like I said, it makes the AI agents know the current date and time. Today is 29th of October, and now I said tomorrow. So it knows that okay, tomorrow we're gonna create the event for 30th of October, you know, create event for 30th of October. So that's what is making this thing. That's why you have to put it now. You don't put this now, it won't know, it won't do it accurately. You have a lot of problems. So always, do this, put this now here. Anything that involves date or time, make sure you put this in your system prompt. It's in your system prompt that you need to put it. And then now so you need the agent to be able to get events such that now so this way you have to also understand again workflow logic or mapping your logic. Now you want to create an event, right? You need the agent to be able to first be able to get the availability. Let's say I tell it, okay, create a meeting for 6 p.m. tomorrow. It needs to be able to, so that's what you are seeing here. So you can see ask it to create an event, right? So, but to prevent things like double bookings, it needs to first get that event. Once it has gotten this get event means go and check the calendar availability. That's what it literally means. Check the calendar availability. Once you have the calendar availability, then you are sure that 6 p.m. tomorrow is free. So literally, the agent is going to come into your calendar and check. Okay, this is 6 p.m. for tomorrow, which is that. So 6 p.m. is free. If it is free, then it will then use the next tool, which is what you are seeing here. So you can see, which is this is the summary. This is the query came in. Now the query was to create an event for 6 p.m. tomorrow. You can see that. Let me zoom in. You can see that it's how to first use the get events tool. This get event, like I said, is to enable you to check the availability at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Is it free? Now, if it is then free, then use the create. Oh, it was about deleting events rather. It's about deleting events. Let me check the one that was about creating events. Let me see. Do I have that? Well, so that's the logic. This is first be able to first check the. This is about updating events. Let me see if I have a create event function. I think I should have it. Nope, it doesn't. This is not about that one. So that's why mapping your logic is very, very important. You need to be able to like know how do I design this. Oh yeah, it's about creating events. So let's see this one. It's about creating an event. So you can let me check the query. You'll see that it's about creating an event. So you can see create a calendar event titled launch for Wednesday, you know, October 29th, blah blah blah, 2 to 3 p.m. Now, to create an event for this particular time, 2 to 3 p.m. on October 29th, you can't just create. What if there was already another 2 p.m. event by that time? That will not make any sense. So you need to first inform me that, okay, see, 2 to 3 p.m. is already booked. So what allows it be able to at least first check if that time slot is available, is this get event. So try just come and search your Google Calendar, which is what I used. So I use Google Calendar, and then calendar actions. You can see actually use get many events, which is what I use. I use get many events. I didn't use this one. I used this get many events here. So I use get many events, and this is what it looks like. So resource is event, operation is get many. You put your calendar, you just come and you choose it, and then so return all. Allow the agent to return. Define a parameter, and then this after. Now, all this after mean is that, okay, see, the duration of the events you are getting. You are not getting events from tomorrow. Or sorry, you're not getting events. Don't go when I say create a new event for me. Don't go and be searching if today is Tuesday, right? If I tell you to create an event for 2 p.m. tomorrow. Now I told you that, okay, the first function is just going to check if that time is available. Now it needs to have a limit of what time it is checking between. Now this after that I put now, now means the current time. It means start searching from this current time so I use plus 1 week and see literally you can see 1 week. So again, what this expression means is that now I want you to retrieve events, right? That's what I want you to do. Okay, get my events. So I need to put a time frame. The event I want you to get to is between now and 1 week time. Get all the events I have. So I say get events for tomorrow. Okay, it's not that tomorrow is Wednesday. Now the Wednesday is going to search for is going to be the Wednesday within now and a week time. Don't go and search for Wednesday that is 3 months in advance, or don't go and search for Wednesday that is in 2020. This is currently 2025. Don't go and search for events, the Wednesday that is 2026. I want to define that limit of time it can search. So this after means, okay, where would it start is searching from? So it means start searching from this current time. That's what I'm using now. I told you that now represents current date and time. It means start searching between now and 1 week. No matter what time I tell you, if I say create an event for Thursday, that Thursday must be within the Thursday within now and the current 1 week. Don't search for anything more than that. And you can always define your parameters. I just use within 1 week. You can allow the AI agent define it for you. But this was very fine for me. So that's why I left it as this. But if you want the AI to define it for you, you can use this. Just toggle this, Once you click on this, you will have something like this. So, but that's what this now means. So once it has gotten that, okay, 2 p.m. is free, you should now use this create event. And in the same way, you just search for that Google Calendar. It's the event action you are searching for. So you click on event actions, you see the action is to create. You can see the operation now is create. So we are creating an event. And you can see here, I just allow the agent define it for me. So start time, end time, let the agent define it, right? And now you need to switch two things on. You can see in this calendar, right? You can see that they all have titles. This is a reading session, this is reading session again, this is lunch. If you need to switch on this, so you click on add field and you click on this summary, you need to select this summary. What this summary does is that it allows, if it's creating an event, if you don't click on that summary, you see not, it don't have any title. You just see 4 to 5 p.m. You don't see any title. This has a title because I allowed it to be able to. You can see this is you can see reading session and the description. You put reading session so as the description, right? That is because I allowed, you can see I chose summary and description. That's why this has, so this summary is you providing a title in your calendar and this is description. So if you don't do that, you see that in your calendar you don't have any title. Literally, to create an event without any title for you, you just see the time. You won't see the, you just see the time. Um okay, no, go straight in. Let me talk. So you need to do that. So don't forget, you need to do that. This you need to switch on. So it's very simple. Just come and select here, add some. You just scroll down. Things very like the bottom. You see summary. You click on summary, allow the AI agent define it. Like I said, this is what you have. You see something like, that's this star sign. This star sign, just like this, you see it. You can see, let the model define this parameter. That's what it's saying, you know. And then once you toggle it, you just click on it and it turns, so the AI agent will just automatically choose a title for you. And they're very, very accurate. Don't need to be scared. Once you to create a launch meeting, usually we use for the that title launch meeting with this, so it'll be pretty accurate. And then description, I already told you what description is. I cannot allow the AI agent to define the both of them for you. That's about creating events. Like I said, always rename your workflows. Those makes it very, very easy. So you know what is what. So that's about creating events, right? And I already told you why I added the contact database such that if in the query, the email is not in the query, if what is entering this agent, the email is not there. Now, for this particular one, was it about creating not it? Okay. Such that you don't create an event with an attendee, let's say create events with Damola. Usually, if the personal assistant agent doesn't know the email, probably the memory is not there. This contact database is to allow this agent first go and set the email of that person to use in creating the events with that person. So now you need to also reschedule the events, right? You want to okay, see, move the time by 1 hour. Okay, reschedule my 4 p.m. appointment to 6 p.m. This is where you do that, and it's still the same thing. You could just come here, your calendar, that's Google Calendar, and you see update an event. This allows you to schedule events if you want to. And I don't think I did anything much here. So you the resource is event, operation is updates, event ID, allow the UI define it too. And the start and end time. This start and end time is very, very important so that it knows, okay, see, the current event is between 2 to 3 p.m. So if I say you should move the event by an hour, move the event earlier by an hour, it knows that, okay, so I have to move it from, instead of that, to move it from 1 to like 2 p.m. That's why I had to, so this one not on add field. You see start and end. That's what this is doing. So it knows that, okay, see, if I need to move the event by 2 hours, move my 5 p.m. event, so move my or reschedule my 5 p.m. event to later to into 2 hours time. You need to select this start and end so that the agent knows, okay, this 5 p.m. event starting by 5 p.m. and ending by 7 p.m. So it's telling me to reschedule it to by 2 hours later. That means I have to reschedule from 7 now to 8 p.m. or something like that. So you need to use this start and end function. Just come and click on this add field. You select it. So once you select it, you see start and end. Allow the agent define it. So that's how you can reschedule the event, right? That's how you can reschedule the event basically. And then to delete an event too, you always use your event ID. That's how to know, okay, is this particular launch event or this particular book session that is deleting. Always need to, and again, just allow the AI agent define it. You don't need to be stressing yourself. So I think, yeah, so create event with an attendee. Now there's a difference between creating an event and creating an event with an attendee. An attendee is just the person that you're creating an event with. So let's say my name is Damola, right? And I say, let's say my contact database, I have someone current bearing Jane Doe. So I say create a spa or create a launch date with Jane Doe, right? Jane Doe is the attendee. So that's what this thing is doing. And usually to create an event with an attendee, it needs the email of that attendee such that it can also create that event in that person's Google Calendar also. So to create the event in my own calendar and to create the event also in Jane Doe's calendar. Do you understand? So that is how this works, create event with an attendee. And that's why you need the email. So to create an event with an attendee, you need an email. And again, that's why I added this contact database, so that if the parent agent does not provide the email, these agents will just come and search for it in this place here, grab the email, and then use it to create the event. So that is what we have. So the resource is event, operation is create, start time, end time, allow the agent define it. Attendees also allow the agent define it. And yeah, so that's all the options here. That's all the options. So basically. And then again, this is why I told you need to add this response field such that this agent once it is done with its function, it can then go and communicate back to the parent agent, which is the personal assistant. Okay, see, I have done the function, and then the personal assistant can then tell you via telegram, okay, see, you have done this, and that is that. So yeah, that is it about this one. Then we have so that's about the calendar. Okay. Then we have the content agents. So this content agent, I didn't finish it. So usually, because I don't want to connect my X account, I don't want to mess with my, I just don't want to connect my X account. So usually, you just provide the prompt here. So usually, if I want to build this, you want to build this completely now. I provided the prompt that, okay, see, you're an AI assistant designed to help me post it on X. But like I said, you can always do this in different ways, right? You can do it for LinkedIn. If you have a blog, you can always do that. Like I said, these systems are very, very scalable. So the idea is to polish. So you give it a rough idea, it refines the idea for you, so can tell it, take my raw idea and refine it into a concise, compelling tweet up to 280 characters. So let's say you don't have the X premium account. It's when you subscribe to the premium account for X that you're able to like type very, very long words. But if you don't have that, you need to put it. I think the character for X is character limit is 220 or 280. That's why I use this character. That whatever tweet you type, you should not exceed this. And usually, so I think also wait for my approval. That okay, you see, once you create the tweet, don't just send it directly. And that's why I saw the one. That's another reason why I don't want to add my X account here. So I just don't want to. So I just don't want it added to. I don't want to configure that. But yeah, that's the idea for this one. So it will do that in them. But in the prompt, I already said you can post it to X. But like I said, I didn't connect my X account. I didn't want to do that. Because this is just to explain this, it's just a tutorial. I'm not building the workflow for myself. I only just built it to explain it, and I can't share a client's workflow. So that's why I'm just using mine. So yeah, basically, this way you come and let's say you are looking for a client now, you first ask the client that, okay, see, what's your style of tweets? You probably go to that client's Twitter profile or X profile rather, and then you grab some tweets. I want to grab like you can grab like 10 different tweets so that this AI agent knows how the person writes. So you just come and you can add to your prompt that, okay, this is how I write. If you are the person, you are doing for yourself. So this is the style I write. Make sure whatever tweet you write for me is also in this style. Then you come and paste all your the type of and use different sets of tweets. You can write maybe how you write it, you're explaining something, add the twist on how you're talking about storytelling, add the twist on how you're like making jokes, so that the agent just knows, okay, see, if the person is asking me to make a joke, come and write it in this particular way. So don't just use the tweet, don't make the tweet the same way. Like grab different type of tweets for that client, from that client. Grab how the person maybe tells stories, grab how he talks about the subject is field. So let's say the person is an architect now and a person makes use about things about in architect in within the architecture world, grab this type of twist too, so that the person is providing the prompt that, okay, say explain this thing for my audience. It is about architecture. the agent will just come and look for that tweet that is about architecture. Okay, that is the reference on how I'm going to write my tweet, so that you don't want the agent to lose that consistency with how the original person writes. That's why you need to provide content of how the person writes into your prompts, so that the agent knows, okay, whatever I'm writing is in this person's style. And then yeah, so I used I think for this I use Claude, right? Okay, I use Claude. Claude is very good in writing things. Claude is very, very good in writing things. So I for the tool, you want to connect to X literally, it's just very easy. Just search for X and you can see, you know. So it's the output. So literally, if you had an output, just drag the output, that AI get output, you come and drag it on that text here. And then literally going to make the post. You select your credential, correct your credential rather. And the credential is asking for client ID and client secret. You go to your X account, you search for your X, I think X developer account rather. X developer, I think yeah, X developer account. If memory serves me right. And then you copy the client ID, copy the client secret, come and paste it here. And you want to click on save, it has connected automatically. And again, these things are very, very scalable. You can first, okay, let's say you don't want the Claude to help you write, because right now it means that, see, for you to write any tweet about content, all it is going to use is Claude. You can build systems where, okay, see, first go and research, can use Stabily. This Stabily is literally, so you can use Stabily. So you can grab content and see web access layer, so where you get access to real-time search engine for AI agent and RAG workflows, fast and secure APIs for web search and content extraction. So you can connect to this library such that, okay, if you want to write a tweet, first come and search for relevant content about that idea. Now once it has grabbed relevant content about that idea, the AI agent is going to process it and then use content it has gotten to write the tweet. So you can only, like I said, these things are very, very scalable. You can do them in many different ways. So you can use Tably, you just connect. So Tably is not on n8n yet, but you can access it via HTTP request. I don't think Tably is here. So there's no Tably on anything, but you can access it via an HTTP request. I did a video on HTTP request on APIs. You see my video on API. You can watch it. I'll link it somewhere in the video. So you can watch the video on HTTP request to know how you can send a request to that Tably. There are many different. You don't have to use Tably. There are many different. I think if you want a different one, so you can. But I think Tably is very good. So that if you then provide the idea, the agent is just going to search Tably for the content around that idea. It's to process everything together. So instead of Claude writing it from scratch for you, you usually provide like content, then Claude analyze those contents, use words or use relevant content from that result, then use that draft the tweet for you. It's about LinkedIn tweets and grab those relevant content ideas and use to write a LinkedIn post. So that is about this content agents, right? And then again, always add the response bar so that it communicates with the parent agent. So I didn't go into details because I just wanted to just use it to explain this YouTube video. So and then we have a research agent. So it's the same method. Always can use. So you can see here I use Stabily. You can so for research now you can use a whole lot of things. You can use Wikipedia. You can use Hacker News. You can see, so you can use, so if you want about research, you can connect Hacker News. Hacker News can get relevance. It's good for research agents. So you can use Hacker News. You can also use SEP API. Yeah. So SEP API allows you to use, you can search from Google. So you connect this and you can just connect your credential, right? You connect your credential. This is asking for API key. So this is about using the research. So if you're asking about, okay, say, get me articles on this particular topic, it's going to call on the person is going to call on this, research agent, and this agent will do that research for you, get the relevant content, relevant articles, and then send it back to that personal assistant. That personal assistant will now send it to you via Telegram. So that is about this research agent. And I think that's all the tools we have. So I talked about it having, a knowledge base. Talked about having a knowledge base. So yeah, that's all our tools. But I thought about it having a knowledge base because there's something it might also provide some little information, about you. maybe things I don't forget. So like I always ask your AI agent that okay, see when is my anniversary again? Or whatever thing you want to actually just want to ask your AI agent to just know. You can add it to a knowledge base. So I use Superbase, that's what I used here, which is actually a vector database, but it's not compulsory to use Superbase. You can try to use a Google Sheet for this. You can use a Google Sheet, just put some relevant details about you in that Google Sheet. Maybe the things you want to use to ask the AI and I forget. Just name it maybe knowledge database, and then you can put the thing so that the AI agent can come and instead of going to the vector database, it will come here and search for that knowledge and then give it back to you. So when I was asking about this, when I was asking about my educational background, it came into my knowledge base, which was super base, a vector database. That's what I used. But that's always the vector database. So I use the vector, I use Superbase, which is so Superbase is this. So I've not done a video on Superbase yet, but I did one. You know, to use a MongoDB vector database. I did a video on that too. Connecting RAG agents with MongoDB. So you can watch that too. But here is Superbase, and I'm not going to talk about Superbase here. I'll probably do a separate video for it later on. I don't know. But if you want to not connect to vector databases, I did one very detailed on using MongoDB. So MongoDB is this one here. So MongoDB is also another vector database that you can use. So you can see MongoDB. So MongoDB Atlas Vector Store. There are different ones. There's also Pinecone. You can use Pinecone. There are different options. This is Pinecone. I also use Pinecone. So yeah, basically that is that about building this personal assistant AI agent that can do different functions. And literally you can keep adding the functions. This one just has for the email, has calendar, content, research, and a knowledge base. But can keep adding different things. Can keep adding. So let's say let's just test again. Let's see how to delete this event now. So delete my launch events for tomorrow. So like I said, it's very dynamic. Delete my I hope I didn't mess anything up in my so let's see. I want to delete this event. I hope I didn't let me see, has you responded? Okay. Well, I deleted it already. I did my engagement for tomorrow, Thursday. Oh, sorry. This is already 107. We're already in the morning. This is 107 a.m. So it was searching for Monday. Let me show you. I don't have a lot event for it was searching for Thursday rather. This is Wednesday. We're apparently Wednesday, 107 a.m. So I thought we were still on I thought we were still Tuesday rather, but this is 107 a.m. So we've come to Wednesday already. So let me try to delete my launch event for today. So it has told me, but I do see one for today, Wednesday, 29th of October. Should I delete the event? Yes. So yes, delete the event for today. So you can do this. You can connect this to Spotify. You want to be able to control your music. You can connect to Spotify. And you can do like you can do. There are so many things you can do. There's so many things you can do. So if you're a business owner or if you are just you like something like this, you want something you can see. So it has been deleted. So let's go and confirm. And you can see now we no longer have the launch event for 1 to 2 p.m. again. So we don't I can see we don't have the launch event again for today. So like I said, if you want something like this, you can always reach out to me, let's discuss. I provided my email, my LinkedIn, my X account, they're all in my page. So connect with me, reach out to me, and I'll be happy to build one for you. And yeah, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Please like, it means so much to me. Every subscription, every like on my video, for everyone that shares, I really see and appreciate every one of you. I'm very, very grateful. I mean, that show of support kind of gives me more morale to do more and more videos like this. So thank you, everyone. I'm thanking everyone of you. God bless you so much. And again, if you want something like this, reach out to me. You want to build workflows, for any other custom AI solutions, if you have anything you want to build about AI, about making your workflows, reach out to me. I'll be happy to help you build them. Thank you. Till next time. Bye.